And welcome into Citrus Preps Podcast. As believe it or not, first of all, it's Mike Deem. I'm Brett Knutson, the final football podcast of the regular season. Hard to believe it has. No surprise, right? I mean, we always say that every year. That's exactly what happens, and it has blown by. It is the final week of the regular season. For just about everybody, Crystal River will have the week off. This is their bye week as they've completed their regular season. We'll talk about them coming up and the state playoffs and if they're going to get in. It's an interesting week for the Pirates as they get set for hopefully some postseason play. Final week of the regular season for everybody else, for Citrus, for Lecanto, and for Seven Rivers Christian. We'll start, Mike, with Seven Rivers Christian. They will finish up at home against All Saints Academy. Neither one of these teams involved in the SSAC state championship playoffs. These are the two extra games you play at the end of the year. Seven Rivers lost last week up in Jacksonville. Trying to end the year on a winning note.
Somewhat of a positive note, yeah.
Yeah, got to try. Tough team. All Saints has got a really good record. If you look at common opponents, they have beaten a couple of teams that have beaten Seven Rivers pretty handily. So it'll be a tough test. But Monty Van and his Warriors, one last chance for your seniors. One last chance. Try to go into the offseason with some positives.
It's great to do it at home because they get those seniors to be able to get off on a foot and be able to finish their career at home and behind the home crowd. And that's nice. I mean, Monty Van's been doing a good job with the little that he has. I mean, trying to make do with what he had, and a couple of people, his son, playing there, and Pepe coming up, and then you got a couple of seniors going to graduate, so you're going to see some 8th graders are going to move into 9th grade next year, and they'll be playing on varsity football. So it's going to be tough for him, but it's good.
Yeah, rough year. We talked about the loss of some talented players to graduation. The next wave of talented other players there, all seems like most of them found homes at other schools in the county. So he was, and he got there late. But I know he doesn't want to hear about the excuses. So hopefully the Warriors can end things on a winning note, pick up their second win of the season. They started the year with a win, and maybe they can kind of bookend their season with wins. Before we delve into the other ones, just want to say congratulations while we're talking about Seven Rivers to their volleyball team.
Yes.
Loses in the regional final on Tuesday night. What an atmosphere. I was out there at that match. It was a heck of an atmosphere. Unfortunately, didn't turn out like the Warriors wanted, but first
Kudos
district
to them
title.
there, though.
Yeah, first district title in 10 years. So congratulations to Coach Stack and those young ladies. Just a fantastic job this year. And they've got a lot returning next year, so we might be talking about them again a year from now. Into the football games on Friday night, which will be the season finales for a pair of county teams. We'll start with the Lecanto Panthers. They will be on the road at Tavares. This will put an end, Mike, to a really busy week and a day. Third game in, 9 days, 8 days. So tough one to Citrus, tough one to Nature Coast. Now they go take on Tavares, and seniors end with a win. Look forward to next year. I mean, however you want to frame it, that's what they want to do on Friday night.
Yeah, trying to get that third win out of the season, and Coach Carper's just trying to push his seniors to finish out strong, and also have those juniors still get some more competition, get some more experience in it, and then maybe get prepped for next year.
Yeah, and he talks about that here as we'll do a little preview of the game and get back to more Lecanto talk. The Lecanto Panthers will put on the helmet and pads for the final time on Friday night as they travel to Tavares for the end of the regular season. For head coach Greg Harper and the seniors, it's never an easy thing seeing the season come to an end and saying goodbye to a solid group.
It's the last one. You want to finish things the right way, and that's with trying to get a victory on Friday night. So it is kind of sad. We've worked with these kids for a long time, and this could possibly be the last game that they play, so you definitely want to go out on top.
It's been a tough year for sure, but I think that we've improved a lot from last year, and I feel like we've showed that from when we played Hudson to come back in the fourth quarter to win, and then when we beat Central 27-0.
I feel like it's been, win-wise, not that great, but it's been a good season. We're all really close, and I'm friends with everyone, so it may not have been the best season win-wise, but it's been a pretty enjoyable season.
For Coach Harper and his team, the immediate goal, pick up a win on Friday night and end the season with 3 victories, and then get his group of young men ready for another year.
It's sad that it's almost over, but it's going to be enjoyable if we can get that one last win so we can end it off on a positive note.
Oh, I just want to go out with a win, honestly. I really, that's the thing I'm going to remember, honestly, is my last game. So I really hope we come out with a win.
I'd rather have a lot of kids coming back than seeing a lot of kids walk out the door, that's for sure. But, you know, this year didn't quite go the way that we wanted. I probably didn't see the growth overall in the team that I really wanted. Of course, I probably wouldn't be happy even if I had seen a lot. But, you know, we got a lot of work to do in the off season with those young guys.
That's what he's talking about, some work with the young guys. He thought, and as he mentioned it there, hoped that the group of juniors would take a big step forward after a lot of playing time last year. Now they've got even more playing time this year, and he's going to expect a lot out of them next year as well.
They got a couple sophomores that are coming up too, some speed guys, and we watched them come up, and they weren't getting a lot of touches. But I think you'll start seeing some better offensive threat than they had this year. Defensively, they kind of were sound. Some games are just not near into the continuity that they needed to have every game, and they would show up one game, cause some fumbles and cause some turnovers, but then just show it and be disappeared every another game.
Got to get things squared away at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Got to get someone who can make some plays down the field. Got to have some receivers that can get open down the field. Got to find a running game, and like you said, shore up some things on the defensive side. Hopefully they will take a nice step forward on Friday night against Tavares, pick up a win. 3 wins would be an improvement from a year ago, which I certainly think will help going into the offseason. And the group of juniors that they have seem committed and dedicated to working hard. And if you can see that gradual improvement, maybe you finish with 3 this year. Next year, who knows what can happen. I think that's what Coach Harper is banking on.
Definitely.
Okay, so that will be on Friday night, Lecanto against Tavares. The other game in our county won't take place here on the road, as it will be Citrus traveling to take on a really good Lake Weir team. The Lake Weir has got some offensive talent. Talking to the Citrus coaches, they've got 2 skill guys that are headed off to play Division I football. You don't play a lot of teams around here. They've got 2 Division I skill players, and so that creates some issues for Citrus. The Canes trying to finish up 5-5. They've won 3 out of their last 4. 4 out of their last 5. This would be 5 out of their last 6. So playing their best football at the end of the year.
Yeah, and it's great to peak at this time and trying to get 5-5. Lake Weir has a great team. Knox Robinson's a great coach on there. He's coming in and turning them around pretty quick. They're balanced on offense. I mean, they're talking about you're averaging 304 yards a point, 304 points during the season. 231 yards passing, 229 yards rushing. Very balanced. They've got a good defense, 28 sacks on the season. So I was impressed with Connor Bishop, how he threw the ball against Lecanto.
Best game of the year.
He did.
Absolutely.
And he hit the numbers right. And
two incomplete passes.
2, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. If they can continue that work towards the end, I think you're going to see Citrus really put some offensive threat against Lake Weir. Now, whether they can stop defensively, that's going to be something. They're very known for that. I mean, their front line's got to do it. They got the big 300-pounder on the left-hand side.
Right.
He should be able to stop off the run. But it's going to be interesting to see if they want to try to get this 5-5. That'd be a great finish for the season.
Yeah, we talked to a couple of the seniors about finishing off the season, as you mentioned, Mike, the tough year it's been, and that 5-5 mark that they desperately want. It was a season of highs and lows for the Citrus High football team. The year started with the passing of senior Alec McMurray, and the team struggled, losing their first 4 games.
There's no way you can describe it or even put it into words, really. No one expected it. There's no rule book as to how to deal with it. We just all kind of leaned on each other, strengthened each other, and with our faith, we got through it.
Well, in the beginning of the season, it was tough for us. We faced a lot of adversity. We were losing our games, but once we beat Hernando, we got that good push. The team picked up as a whole.
Like Drew Hess said, the team turned things around with a big win over Hernando, which started a string of 4 wins in their last 5 games, including a victory over county rival Lecanto. Citrus will be looking to make it 5 wins on the season as they finish up the year Friday night at Lake Weir.
It definitely feels a little different knowing that it's the last game of all our senior careers, but it definitely brings the energy up a little bit, I believe. It would feel amazing, just finish off the season with a win, finish the year with a bang, you know what I mean? Finish just even 5-5.
It's the last game. We couldn't make it to playoffs, but it's important to us to reach that 5-5 record this season, and for it being the last week for us seniors, it's been a bit different.
difficult year like we talked about, and I know Coach Varnador and his staff never made excuses from the beginning, but doesn't have to look too far to see what happened with the start of the season and how it affected them, and look at what they did. A big win against Hernando, who's going to go to the playoffs more than likely. They played Crystal River tight, who is more than likely going to go to the postseason, pick up a win over county rival Lecanto. So I think they can feel positive about a lot of things. But as they said, a 500 record, you look at yourselves a little differently than you do when you're 4-6.
Totally agree. That's equal on either side, and I think that's what they're aiming for, and especially coming back from the adversity they had in the beginning of the season. I mean, kudos to those guys, and great thoughts to them on their final season. And I got to say something. This is the last game for a lot of seniors, and they're talking about it. You want to go out with a bang, and if you're watching this podcast, take in every minute that you play that game, because if you're not going to be able to do this, and a lot of us have played that game and we can't play it anymore, and you remember those moments though, so take into those moments, play as hard as you can, put everything on the field, leave it out there, because you're not going to maybe not be able to do this again.
Yeah, remember the last few days, remember the Friday, especially for our schools, you're going on the road, remember that bus trip.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun, and it is something that you'll wish you had another chance to do.
I know you will.
Take it from the old guys. So
exactly.
Best of luck to the Canes as they close out the season at Lake Weir on Friday night. Now to the Crystal River Pirates, who are off this week. This is their scheduled
They're not off. They're
bye week.
They're still practicing.
They are still practicing. They are waiting. And speaking of that, this is what they had to say after the week you watch a game and about this week, and then we'll get into the playoffs. After their come-from-behind win, thanks to 2 fourth-quarter interception returns for a touchdown, the Crystal River Pirates finished the regular season 8-2. They're enjoying a bye week this week, the final week of the regular season.
They don't give points or victories for style. Just a matter of fact, we were able to finish the job, get the job done, and ultimately that's all that matters. We're our guys have had a great regular season. Not perfect, obviously, but near perfect, and we've given ourselves a chance when we wake up on Monday to start a new season 0-0.
I couldn't be any happier. It's a crazy feeling. I've never had anything like that. It's my senior year, making the play, and it's just a great feeling. We got a nice shot at the playoffs now, and it's no better feeling.
But the question everyone seems to ask is if the Pirates are in the playoffs. The latest power poll came out, and Crystal River was in as one of the 4 wild cards in Class 5A. But things can change in the final week. Head coach Cliff Lowry says his team is confident they're in.
I feel confident enough that we're going to tee it up on Monday and go to practice.
Our motto is we're not going to sit back and act confident, and we got to go. We got this week is our bye week. We're going to work all week, and then hopefully find out who we're going to play. And we're going to prepare for them our hardest and give it our all to the first round of the playoffs.
I couldn't be more fortunate to come in as a first-year head coach at Crystal River High School. My dream job, obviously, and to come in with this group of seniors. I don't know that. Well, I do know. I couldn't have started with a better 11 than the group I have.
He's right. It was a pretty good group of 11 that kind of set the tone for this entire season. It started in week 1 against Denellen with a come-from-behind victory. They've kind of been the cardiac kids in a lot of ways, taking some games down to the wire. The question now, Mike, becomes, do they get another game? And as I mentioned, the points came out, and this is this week, and obviously there's still one more week for some people to play. So we'll go over this
because you got the know-all on everything.
I know.
We're talking about going all the way across to the west on Colorado.
Yeah, we're going to be pay attention to a game in Colorado tonight. That's kind of what the craziness is. This is what we do know. Zephyr Hills, North Marion, Nature Coast, and Baker County are all in this region. All 4 of those teams will host a state playoff game. I think it's safe to assume Zephyr Hills is probably going to be the number 1 seed. Obviously, if you look at it now, North Marion and Nature Coast are tied for the second. A tiebreaker would go Nature Coast's way by more Category 1 wins, but that can still change. I also think it's pretty I guarantee it, Baker County will be the number 4 seed. So the second part of it is, how does the rest of it play out? Hernando, Menendez, and Eastside and Crystal River are all going to be in the playoffs. I will bet almost everything I have on that, because simply you just look at River Ridge with 35 points. Eastside has got, as you look at it now, 37.56. That's almost a 1.5 lead. That's a lot to make up in 1 week, as I've looked at the point standing. So the question now becomes, where does Crystal River move in these standings? I don't think they're going to be able to catch Hernando. I know it doesn't make sense. They beat them head to head. They have a better district record, but if you want to
points, not
if you want to break it down, it comes down to the fact that because they both have the same district schedule, same amount of points within those 6 games. It's the non-district schedule where Crystal River's non-district opponents were well below 500. Hernando's district opponents were well above 500. That's what's given them more points. What Crystal River can hope for is a win by Southlake and a loss by a team Hernando played in week number 2 from the state of Colorado, who's playing tonight against a team I think that has 2 wins. So if that team from Colorado wins tonight, then as I look at it, and Crystal River coaches can certainly tell me I'm wrong, and I wish I was, but I don't think they'll be able to catch Hernando. So Hernando will be ahead of them, but Crystal River I still think is a playoff team. The question is, do they get in as the 6 or the 7 seed? I don't think, I hope Eastside doesn't catch them, but I think the 6, 7, and 8 seed are all in play, and we don't know essentially who the 2 and the 3 seed are going to be. So we have no idea who Crystal River is going to play in the playoffs, except for, I firmly believe, like Coach Lowry said, we're going to go to practice on Monday. They practice this week because they think they're going to play. My guess would be more than likely they're going to see North Marion or Nature Coast. And that's probably what will take place, and the question becomes, which one do you have to go to? Either one will be a tough test, but I think either opponent, Coach Lowry and Crystal River, believes if they play their best, they've got a chance to win.
And defensively, if they hold their opponents to under what they normally do, which is what their defense is known for, and then also use that fourth quarter as they've done all year to come back and try to make sure that they solidify the game or come back and win the game. That's their MO. That's been their MO all year. They may be out of it maybe a little in the first half, but they're a second half team, and they come back all the time. So
they did.
They have confidence. They have confidence they can do anything and play anybody.
Again, against Weeki Wachee, they were down by a couple touchdowns, come back, and they were really down to the last 5 minutes of their season after a turnover deep in their end, and then Miles Hampton with a pick 6 changes everything. A senior who makes a play. They've done it all year long, and there would be one of those teams that I think, whether you're North Marion or you're Nature Coast or wherever, you don't want to play them because they've got playmakers. They've got a defense that can take over a game
and stop you on certain key downs.
Yeah, make plays, and they've also got this ability to win close games. Now, whoever they play is going to have a very good record and going to be a solid opponent, but I think Crystal River will be a confident
Coast, they've already proven that they can play with
that would be a heck of a battle. That would be a heck of a battle. Part 2 to see those two go at it, because it was an overtime game. We know it was close. I just remember late in the third quarter, Crystal River gets a turnover. They had a chance to go in and essentially win the game and didn't. But that would be fun to see. And we know about the history of the North Marion program. It's on its way back up again. It would be fun to see, a Marion County school, a Citrus County school battling in the playoffs as well. So that would be fun. And I really think those would more than likely be the 2 places that they head. So hopefully Crystal River fans avoid the trip all the way to Baker County. It looks like that hopefully will not happen, but we'll see. If you're waiting for that, the FHSAA announces those on Sunday morning is when the pairings will come out. You can check it out on FHSA on Twitter. I think they also have a live TV special you may be able to watch as well. So you'll be able to see that live, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of people after the Friday games who kind of do the math and try to come up with it. I may. I don't think I will, because it's going to be mind-boggling. But I really feel confident Crystal River's in, and now it's just a question of will they be the 6, 7, or 8, and where will they go? So,
and it's kind of interesting also, if you're familiar with our podcast and what we do on live stream, we are looking at maybe trying to do that game if there's a playoff game.
If we can work it out, location, FHSAA rules, and local school rules, wherever the host is, if we can get it done, and we've got some Crystal River sponsorship availability, we'd love to be able to bring that to you, especially if it's a bit of a travel.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll find out on Sunday where they go. Yeah. Talk to Mike. You can find him and let us know. We'd love to be able to bring that game to you as we hit the road, hopefully, for a playoff game or two. That would be even better.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely. So we'll be back next week with another podcast. Hopefully be previewing a playoff game for Crystal River. And believe it or not, the winter sports are already underway. They're practicing. I've seen basketball. I've seen soccer. I've seen tennis. I've seen everybody out there doing their thing. So we will start transitioning into that as well. So thanks for tuning in. Go ahead, Mike.
Don't forget about basketball every Friday night, or the basketball game.
Yeah, once a week. We're going to get the schedule compiled. We'll get it posted on the Facebook page and on Twitter, so you know what games we'll be doing. But we'll also be doing our podcast during the week, talking about all the winter sports and everything going on. So the season changed, different sports, but we'll still be doing the same thing.
That's right.
Absolutely. So we'll be back next week with another podcast talking a little football and some winter sports as well. Thanks for tuning in.